Like you have like 99 potions, 5x potions. Like, let me sell 60 of these potions.
99 potions.
On a wall, 99 potions of Final Fantasy.
I was going to go with a more modern reference, but that works too.
Save one.
One falls down.
No, you never use them.
Final Fantasy.
99 elixirs on the wall. Never use them. They're always there.
Never use them,
The
so
end.
we have 99 elixirs on the wall.
Welcome to Game Rushmore. My name is Josh, and with me today,
Mike.
Brandon.
and we're short on Aaron today, which will be fine.
Just one. We have another one, but a spare Aaron.
Yeah, a Sparin. We have a Sparin, but we don't want to use him today.
Yeah.
He's
He's
emergency.
deflated right now anyways. We'd have to inflate him.
Yeah, you ever see Airplane with the
Yes.
co-pilot?
Yep.
What's the co-pilot's name?
Oh, Kareem.
No, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The inflatable co-pilot.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, it had a name, and it was just like it was a blow up. It just like inflated, and it had like a happy little guy on it, and he'd like take the steering wheel of the airplane.
That's a great movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
I'm not against it. You know, it has its moments, and it is funny. It has some real funny things in it. Video games. We play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Mm.
No, I've been playing much video games.
Oh yeah? Which much video games have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a lot of the same. So Thimbleweed Park,
Mm-hmm.
which is hard. I've had to resort to looking online for one puzzle, and then there's an in-game hint system. You can call a number. You see these flyers, and you can call it in. This is an adventure game, by the way. I mentioned it last week.
Yeah. It's a point and click adventure game.
Yeah, with verbs.
And old school sensibilities.
And, you know, after that podcast we had, I actually played and I tried it, and you can hit the right stick and it'll be the default or a good, you know, a common verb. So there is a shortcut that I was unaware.
Brandon.
Shame on me.
Yeah. He was lambasting a game that
a
had
post-
what he wanted.
Post edit.
We're going to have to go back and fix that episode.
Yeah. But some of these, you have to get a blood sample. Spoiler, by the way. You have to get a blood sample, and to get it, you need to get a piece of toilet paper to absorb the blood sample. And on your journal, it will say you need a swab of the blood from the victim. So you get toilet paper, you soak up some blood, and then I try to feed it into this Bloodtron because you need a sample of the blood, and then you also need something with blood on it.
Yeah.
And then you get a wallet. And it said it's too soggy. So I'm like, I couldn't solve this puzzle. You actually have to go to a dryer in a bathroom and then dry the piece of paper towel with a hand dryer.
I cannot play those games. They're just so
Abstract and silly.
forget abstract. It's like
Illogical.
why wouldn't it work? It's too soggy. What about it? It'll work.
There was no, man, I wonder how I can dry this out. Hint, it's too soggy to feed in there. So I try to touch it with other things that I could feed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I could use this. No, it doesn't work. I could use it. No.
Not only that, but like toilet paper, that's not going to hold up. You can't put that in a machine at all. Like you're going to be silly about it.
Also, blood coagulates, and so you can just wait a short period of time and it'll dry on its own.
Yeah. And a problem with the game, which isn't a problem because you have this hint system anyway, but if you're like me, I feel guilty and I feel as though I'm cheating.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you could actually progress without it, because I mean, I would spend hours just like, okay, I've what am I missing? What am I missing? And you get to a point in at least midway through the game where you have access to all these characters and they each have their own goals, and you can't complete some of their goals without doing something first. I'm like, which goal do I need to do first? It doesn't tell you. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to get this guy here. And I think that's what I need to do next. But no, in order to even get to that guy there, I need to do this one thing first. So I'm like, well, what do I do? What do I need to focus on?
So it's not even like a wolf and sheep in a boat situation. It's you have literally no idea what goes first.
Yeah, exactly. I know what I need to do, and you can't just do any of them whenever you want because, like one of the characters is a ghost, and it changes all the verbs, and you need to get him to go out and unlock something. I knew I had to do that, and I thought that was the next thing I needed to do. So I spent so much time trying to get him out of this hotel. Lo and behold, I was missing something. I had to go solve this murder first. Like, oh, well, shoot. I thought, I was missing something to solve the murder, but it's interesting. I like it. I'm still enjoying it. I played Xenoblade. I haven't gotten anywhere Blades lately.
With the point and click, you said you have not played any of the Zero Escape games.
I have not. No.
I think those do a lot better job of piecing together an order. They're the same type of game, but it makes more sense that something needs to logically happen before something else.
You think it's the same type of game?
It can be, yeah.
Because these games, you collect garbage. I mean, I literally at one point in my inventory had a empty tuna can, empty whiskey bottle,
a collection of dust.
I've a collection of dust. Right now, all those things are completely useless.
See, so each room, it's more like an escape room.
Yeah.
And in each room, you do pick up things, and you could not have any idea what they are. They're not as obtuse as like a collection of dust where you're like, well, I might need this dust eventually. It's more like, here's a piece of a puzzle, and you're like, well, nothing looks like this. Why do I have this? And then you're clicking other things, and it unlocks other stuff, and then you see the puzzle, and you're like, oh, well, here's. So it's more of like, it's more contextual.
Yeah.
I think the obscurity of those games kind of makes them worse for what they are. I know it's very classic sensibilities because those old games were all like that, but
well, imagine, and what I think of the Zero Escape is instead of having backdrops and graphics, it has text, so it explains the narrative. It narrates through text. Like, okay, you're in a room and it's filling up with water, and in 999.
Right.
And right. And but in this, you're just walking around, you're picking up things, looking at things. So
yeah, because it is a picture of a room, and you change your perspective on the room, and it's still kind of like a static thing, and then you get people that show up and talk to you about stuff. So I can see that, but is the animation really something that you're looking for?
No, I think the problem is I really enjoy reading, and I like to take a break from reading by playing video games, and vice versa. So I like to take a break from playing video games to reading. But for some reason, games like that, I feel too much like I'm reading. Just like Sunless Sea. I'm like, well, I might as well just read a book.
Yeah.
I'm doing too much reading, not enough engaging with my fingers and buttons and
that's fair.
Choice making.
That is fair. I get that because you get the fatigue when there's so much text that you're reading. You're like, well, I'm not even. Sometimes I'm playing Sunless Skies and a bunch of text will appear and I'm like, next, and I don't even read it. I'm like, all right.
See, I would never do that.
Just kind of scan it and be like, did I get anything? No, next. I don't care about these mice, whatever. So, fair enough.
I wanted to play something on my Switch that was like a little throwback, and I'm enjoying it. I think I'm getting close to the end. I played the Monster Hunter World beta.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
I think you and Mike both played that, right?
Oh, yes.
It's a very, very much an enjoyable beta.
Mm-hmm.
Graphics, very improved.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't want to say vastly improved, but the graphics are better.
They look real nice.
I mean, the game has always looked nice to me.
But the last Monster Hunter game was on what? The 3DS?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes.
It still looked good to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was blocky, but
it wasn't terrible. but you're on a PS4 now. You have
Yeah.
a lot more headroom.
But the last one I really played was the Wii U. That
Mm.
was, or I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't play on the Wii U. I played on the Wii. It was Monster Hunter Tri,
Right. Yeah.
and that was good. And it looked good.
Mm.
I like a couple of the changes they made. The first one being, you can see damage that you do
Mm.
in numbers. This was never a Monster Hunter trope or feature, and that was part of its appeal. But I'm glad they included it because I felt very rewarded when I saw a double-digit number. I'm like, oh yeah, crit that son of a gun.
Oh, really? Just double digits?
Well, I mean, yeah, because you'll be doing 6, 1.
Wow.
You're on
Okay.
its back and you're stabbing it. You're like 1, 1, 1.
Do you think it'll be like that through the whole game? Do you think maybe?
I imagine absolutely.
the setup is this monster has 1,000 hit points. That's a ton of hit points.
Monster Hunter is not like your typical creature boss game because you're fighting all these bosses.
Yeah.
You're sitting there for a half hour just trying to kill this thing. You're like, how is this thing can still be alive? And then it's limping away and you're like, no. And then you go after it and you're still trying to kill it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these things take a long time, and we were decked out in good quality gear. So the first time we would encounter it in the game, we wouldn't be as decked out. So it'd take us a long time.
Yeah, that's interesting because you get role-playing games where you do upwards of thousands of points of damage, 100,000 points of damage, and it's like, I don't know if you need that kind of creep in a game.
Go on.
So I'm brand new to this series.
Uh-huh.
This is my first foray into this, but speaking of low numbers, there was one time where I whapped a monster right in the mug, and it said 37 damage, and I'm like, oh yeah, 37 damage.
I set 2 barrels right in front, or just I set 2 barrels, and then I was communicating to it was me, Mike, Aaron, and Jen, and Aaron was able to shoot the barrels right when the dinosaur creature was sniffing it, or its face was right in there.
Right.
And then it was 80-80. And I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah. And we killed this thing with less than 4 seconds left.
So there's a timer when you're fighting them?
We had 20 minutes. Yeah, they definitely nerfed the time and their challenges, it's just to really to play it. But
the timer is going to be increased in the full retail. So
well, I mean, you typically have an hour.
That's what I was
I
reading.
knew. Yeah. I mean, the 20 minutes is usually if it's a special challenge you download or something. Or if you go to the arena, because there's, in the previous ones, they had arenas and you can just fight off against the monsters, learn their behavior. I like the tracking is cool, where the original, its predecessors, when you'd go on a hunt, unless you had specific gear that tracked a monster and you could see it on the map, you would actually just have to run around to all the different areas until you found it, and then you'd use a paint ball and then just throw it at it, and then you could mark it. But and in previous Monster Hunters, they were probably all these different islands, which were the different zones. This is it's seamless, which is nice. It should have been seamless a while back, but probably due to processing power couldn't do it. But now everything's seamless, which is nice. There's no loading between zones.
Do you think they gave you the full map in the in this version?
Oh yeah.
It was huge.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, almost a little too big with the 20 minutes because we're sitting there running across this zone trying to get, and it's cool. You can actually traverse differently. You slide, and then you can get a ghillie suit. You can get a gliding ghillie suit where if you jump off, you can glide a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
There's some cool features.
Are there multiple zones? Is that how that works?
Yeah, there's a desert one, and then there's kind of a more foresty one.
All right.
I mean, it's a map is made up of zones, except now it's seamless. It's connected. So they're still numbered. Okay. So I'm heading towards 5. Or, it's at 6. But instead of it being connected by lines, it's one big map.
Okay.
And I really liked the fact that we had to communicate in order to take these things on. Like it's not just running in and just like mashing triangle or whatever just to do a bunch of damage. It's actually like a coordinated effort of setting down traps and then trying to aggro the monster over those traps and spring them, or trying to set the monster up into a lower ground while you're getting up on the higher ground and like jumping on its back, and you pull out your little daggers and you're like stabbing the thing in the back.
Yeah. Monster Hunter 4 was the first one to incorporate that, to my understanding. Because I think it was when Dragon's Dogma came out, people were like, oh, you can grab onto things, and Monster Hunter was probably wanted to jump on that gravy train.
But
they wanted to add that feature.
A lot of that gravy.
I feel like I've been looking for this type of game for a long time. Like I've always really liked the idea of Monster Hunter. And of course, Brandon telling me stories about it was always very intriguing, but it was never on a platform that I owned, because it was always traditionally handheld, or it was like on the Wii or something. And, having it now on PS4 and having it like a lot more accessible and stuff, it's like, I just want to dive right in, because, I've played other games that obviously have taken ideas from Monster Hunter, like even Horizon Zero Dawn. And then there was a game on the Xbox 360 called Lost Planet 2, where actually it was made by Capcom as well, where the demo was you fighting this giant beast. And unfortunately that game turned out to be garbage, but like I liked the idea of going in with 3 other friends and having a very long battle with the monster and having to study its body language and its behaviors in order to anticipate like what it's going to be doing next. So like we were fighting this big T-Rex thing that had like fins on it, and it would flash the fins before it would like charge or like blow fire. So it's like, I'm understanding like the pattern of this monster. So
and yeah, one of the things that monsters do is they become enraged, and for that, its nose would flare up, its wings would come out, and then it would blow fire. So there's almost multiple stages of monsters that they go into and out of during battle that you also have to learn. It's more of just, it's not like it's a static, fight.
I'm also really excited to kind of dive into the systems of the game too, because it's really focused on crafting, and there's actually purpose of defeating these monsters other than just like personal achievement. Like you go and you gut the monster and you use its parts to craft weapon and armor. So like fighting tougher enemies then turns you into a tougher, hunter.
Yeah. It has a very Dark Souls-esque feel to it, in which the skill is something that it's a craft that you have, and that's what increases, not your level. And as you become a better player, you're able to take on better monsters. Well, of course, with better armor. So although your armor and weapons are increasing, your toolkit's increasing, but your level never increases. And, Dark Souls, you had a level, but essentially you're just
getting better at the
it's
game.
Your skills, and your ability to dodge and fight. What I like also is that, there's a lot of things, but I remember we had a issue with the matchmaking, or at least the getting into a group, and I realize now why that's probably the case. So in the beta, you had to actually pick what monster you wanted to fight. So you're almost picking the quest before you can even get into multiplayer, and then you would have a code, and you'd have to use the code to find everybody. Whereas in original Monster Hunter, the town is a meeting room, and you can accept quests from a quest counter. So technically we could all meet up in a room, but we're not choosing the quest yet. So that's probably, since they didn't have that hub in the game, all they had was just the actual quests.
Oh, so the actual, because it's a long code that you have to manually put in with the controller.
Yeah.
Which is not the best way to do anything, really.
Well, so again, doing research, that is not going to be in the final retail. I can just, like a traditional lobby, I can just directly send invites to you guys and have you come in.
Yeah.
So-
So like Brandon's saying, you can go to a town hub where you're meeting
Yeah.
before you go to the monster.
It is. It's the town, and that's where you do crafting, you farming and fishing, and there's NPCs and there's quests, there's challenges, and then there's counters. So and there's chests where we can change our equipment. So actually, the more I talk about it and the more I think about it, the more I'm probably going to buy it.
I hope so, because it's really fun.
I mean, I would if I didn't play so much of Monster Hunter Tri. I played so much of that game. That's why I haven't gotten 4 or the one after 4. I don't know what it's called.
I don't remember.
And then, I mean, it's just Monster Hunter XX. But now having the multiplayer and they definitely, because that was a thing too, knowing what's effective. So when I played Monster Hunter, I'd always hit the feet, and I would do that. I'll try to hit the face and try to hit the tail sometimes, to cut off things like horns and teeth and tails. But normally I'd go for the feet because it's easy to dodge out of the way, and you're not, the mouth, it has a hard time coming around to you.
Because you're an ankle biter.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And plus, if you hit the legs enough, they'll fall over, and then they're on their side. So, I mean, there's benefits to that. But now seeing the damage that I do, I'm like, wow. So I can really see the effect this is having, the length of time it's taking me to actually take it down. Whereas the original Monster Hunter, you're just, you kind of get more damage in the face, but you have no idea how much because no one knew.
Yeah,
there was
like,
no health bar. There was no...
I'm not going to risk it for 3 extra points of damage, but you're looking in, you're like, 30 points of damage. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's worth it.
It was a quarter of the damage on this one thing.
Yeah. So maybe it won't take you 3 hours to fight a monster.
Well, yeah, I would solo. Well, I mean, you never had 3 hours. You only had 60 minutes.
Right.
And so, and they've incorporated too these cats that kind of the felines that come with you that are kind of cool.
I picked the black one and named it Minnie.
We have
course.
a cat named Minnie, and she's a Maine Coon, black. That's why.
And terrible person.
She's a terrible person.
She's the best cat, but a terrible person.
She's the worst person I've ever met.
So one thing that I liked about this game too, and this kind of gave me some flashbacks of The Witcher, where like in The Witcher, when you were going after the more powerful monster hunts, you would actually have to go to like a bookstore and like have Geralt like buy a book, and you would read it and it would like give you information and stuff, and then you would like sit and make like the potions and like put oils on your sword and everything. And this one, like every time before we went into a quest, it's like, here's all your gear. Here's, there's like all these different types of armor sets, and they all have like, buffs or debuffs against like different elements, and same with the weapons. And it's all about like trying to figure out like what gear is going to be best for going into the situation to deal with this monster. And I don't know. I could see some people finding that tedious, but I love that in games. Like I love that in The Witcher, where it's
If
like
it's
trying to
done
figure
well.
out. Yeah, if it's done well.
It's a simulation in a sense, like Monster Hunter and that part of Witcher. It's a simulated bounty hunter, simulated, mercenary.
Right. Somebody who
It's-
actually
it's
knows what
kind
they're
of-
doing.
It's kind of a little more involved than just go kill this thing.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're the one doing
Like
it.
you got to get the funds, you need to get the education, you need to get the resources, find out its weaknesses.
Next
you gotta
Monster
tail
Hunter
it for a bit.
Next Monster Hunter, you just go through a university course before you can fight any monster. 9-week course.
Yeah. Oh, I went to in Monster Hunter Tri. I fought the Plesiothot. I think it was like the Plesius something.
Is that the water one?
The water one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I had to actually train against that I think it was I did lots of training against this thing to kill it. It took me forever. Because I would get to a point, I'm like, okay, I'm plateaued. I can't beat this thing. Try it, fail. And then I'm finally getting closer, and then I finally do it. And I'm like, yes. And then I can go on, and then I get to another monster that's just, I plateau. And I'm like, there's no way I can beat this thing. But eventually, you're just like, you realize you develop. You become a better man. Better Monster Hunter.
You peak.
It was very satisfying when we took that T-Rex down.
Yes.
Like we were all cheering. We were like, yeah.
We call it a T-Rex, but it was this mucus thing and it blew fire.
At T-Rex arms.
T-Rex arms, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hide behind a tree and it would still get me with the fire. So it's like, I don't know.
Tree's not going to save you from fire, Brandon. They catch on fire.
So now I'm straight up run. I'm like,
Yeah. You got to get out of there.
More items, more crafting. The like I said, the tracking is better. It's real tracking, or at least there's an element to it where you're finding footprints and then you're exploring them. You're looking at score marks on a tree or something. But as far as what I've been playing, that's what I've been playing. And I was looking at Escapist 2. That game does look interesting to me, but I'm afraid I would just play it for a day or two and then not play it.
I've heard that name for Escapist, but I can't remember what it is.
It's a sandbox game where you're in a prison and you're a little sprite.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to do tasks and you have to try to escape.
And it's like a bunch of prisoners. You can play with multiple people in that one, can't you?
There's co-op. But it came out for the Switch.
And you get shivs, and then...
You can make shivs. You can do all sorts of things.
Yeah, and then like they put you in solitary confinement, and they take your stuff sometimes. And there's air ducts. I've seen that game.
I was watching people play, and they were able to craft. They put drapes on their bars. They were able to craft with bleach and shirts. They made guard uniforms. One of them had a key, and the other guy couldn't follow along because I guess you both need a key. Mm-hmm. And he ended up, the key had a limited amount of use, so he actually got trapped behind this guard, like where the dogs are. So he was just stuck there.
It was always, I was watching a stream, and it was multiple people, and like they would get together and they would try to break out. And it looks fun to do with people because also somebody can just screw up entirely and screw up your whole plan, get caught by dogs or something. If you're outside of your cells at night, like you could get really messed up. The guards will beat you up and put you in the hospital. Yeah,
you have to, and you could beat up prisoners. Prisoners will fight each other, but you have at different times. There'll be roll call. You have to attend. You have to go attend lunch. Then you have a part-time job you can do.
Right.
And then you can exercise time. You're sitting there working up your stats so you can,
It looks interesting.
Jumps.
It looks fun, but you're right. It looks like this could either be I play this forever or I play this for 10 minutes and I'm done.
Yeah. I would like a demo of it, I think, before I invest.
There should be more demos. Mike, what else you got?
Well, so Monster Hunter World, which I'm a lot more excited after the night before we recorded this podcast. Friend of the show, Wyatt and Jen and I played Overwatch for like 4 hours and just got mopped. Like we were just obliterated just for hours and we were getting mad. And then after it was all done, we finally got a victory. I was like, now I'm really looking forward to Monster Hunter because it's not competitive and I can still play with friends. Like it'll be nice just to have a little change of pace. That being said, the new Blizzard World map comes out on Tuesday, so
I saw
it's
tickets
not going to
for
keep
that.
me. It's not going to keep me away from Overwatch. But
I saw physical tickets, where I was like, "Wait a minute, is that a place you can go to now?"
I wish. It looks awesome. They're also releasing a bunch of Blizzard themed skins for all the characters too. So
Blizzard theme? Oh, like
like their other properties.
Right.
Yeah, like Zarya's the Barbarian from Diablo 3 and so on. So Monster Hunter World, very impressed. Had a lot of fun. Ran very smoothly, which I'm always happy about when a game doesn't drop frames or run like garbage and still look nice.
It didn't run 60.
It didn't run 60.
I thought it was going to run 60, but maybe I was just assuming wrong. I don't know.
No, but it was a very smooth 30, which is more than acceptable.
Yeah.
So
it's watchable, I guess.
I suppose.
Get out of here. Who are you people?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're kidding. Another beta came out that I played, which is Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Zeta.
Dragon Ball Fighters
Zeta.
No.
Nobody says Zeta.
No. So
what's the Z stand for? A Zeta.
Zed.
It doesn't stand for anything.
Alpha, beta, Zeta. I don't know. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Okay. So So the beta for this game was very frustrating. And so for anyone who doesn't know, this is a 3v3 tag fighting game, much in the same vein as like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or 3, where you bring in assists and you form like a little team of your favorite Dragon Ball characters and you fight. And I'm not like a huge Dragon Ball fan, but I'm like so impressed over the visuals of this game. This is being made by Arc System Works, which does the Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear Xrd series, which look just like animes. And this game looks like it just came straight out of like a Dragon Ball movie. Like it
is a beautiful Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. But like the beta, oh man, that beta was really frustrating because I've been very excited about this game since they showed it off in the Microsoft press conference at E3 last year. And so, it was like, oh, open beta. It's like, yes, finally get in there. And all I kept getting was cannot connect to the server. So I couldn't even like get past the title screen for the first day, which was, it's a beta. So it's like they're doing a server thing. But I think they very much underestimated how popular this game is going to be because it's like Dragon Ball, which is huge. And then on top of that, it's actually good. So I think this game is actually going to be huge. But
yeah, you just got to look back at the games that were released recently that had huge flaws with them, but people played those games. What were they called? The
Xenoverse?
Yeah, Xenoverse games. Like Xenoverse games weren't great, but man, do people love playing that game.
They look cool, but yeah, just...
And so now they have like a nice, competent, pretty game, and they were like, "Oh, nobody's gonna play this."
Yeah. So on the second day, which was also the final day, it was very short beta. I finally got in, and so I made my team of Super Saiyan Goku, my favorite Dragon Ball character ever, Krillin.
Krillin's your favorite?
Yeah, I love Krillin, and adult Gohan. Sorry.
Gohan.
And Gohan. Han Solo. But yeah, I was able to get into some matches. I really like the lobby system in this game. It's like a little 3D map and you choose like an avatar. So I was just Goku and you like walk around and you see all these other players.
Wow.
And you actually have to like go up into like an arena and like register in there.
And it's like little chibi characters, right?
Yeah, they're like a little adorable chibi characters.
Oh, that's cool. Dang, I would get
yeah,
that's a cool feature.
It's very cool. Guilty Gear Xrd had that too, where you walk around in an arcade and you actually sit down at a cabinet, and that's how you do your matchmaking.
Oh, that's cool.
So this one doesn't have that, but instead it's like you go up to like the tournament arena and like you register, and it's like pick your team and go in casual. So I played a few casual matches. That game is real good. It's definitely a very simple approach to fighting games. So I think like not only does it look beautiful and it's got Dragon Ball, but I think what's really going to reach mass appeal with this game is just how easy it is to get into. So you have essentially like four basic attacks, like a light, heavy, or light, medium, heavy, and then one where you throw fireballs.
Fireball, but fireball button.
Yeah, the fireball
Kick, punch,
button.
fireball.
Yeah. Which is actually nice that you can just sit there and hurl fireballs with the button because it's Dragon Ball and they're always throwing fireballs. But every button has an auto combo. So you can just run up and just spam light attack and you'll do like a 9-hit combo that will pick them up into the air and you'll juggle them and then you'll end with like a super just by hitting one button. Now, it's not an optimal combo or anything like that. Like if you learn the game and you learn how to do, actual combos, like you're going to be doing more damage. But if you're like a kid or somebody who doesn't want to spend 100 hours learning a fighting game, like you can get in there and just like mash buttons and see a lot of really cool stuff and feel good about it. And so I actually appreciated that about it.
Because Mike's a kid who likes to mash buttons.
Yeah, well, I tried not to rely on that. But the thing is, though, it's like it does award you for doing that combo, the light attack combo, because you can actually collect all 7 Dragon Balls, and you can summon the dragon, and he'll actually grant you a wish. So you can like res one of your fallen allies.
Really?
Yeah.
Between the light attacks?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
There might be other ways that you can do it too, but in the tutorial, that's how they teach you how to do it.
Huh.
And I mean, it's pretty hard to get there.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of fights from a streamer, and I never saw that once.
I pulled it off in my very first match.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, and I like res Goku, and I was like, appropriate, because Goku's always getting resurrected.
Yeah, he's always dead.
Yeah.
But one of my concerns going into the game from watching streams and stuff and footage of it was that every fighter was going to kind of feel the same, because it's just a lot of like, it's Dragon Ball, so everyone's got like their chi blasts, and they've all kind of used the same style of martial arts.
Yeah.
But actually getting into the game and then having like Krillin on my team, and even like Gohan, feel very different from Goku. So despite the fact that they're all kind of ranged characters, they all feel very distinct from each other, which was very nice. It was something that actually came as a relief, and I was like, oh man, this is just selling me even more on this. But yeah, the online, like when it worked, it ran real smoothly. I only had one match that was kind of bad, but again, it was the beta and the server overload and all that stuff, so I'm not going to hold it against it. But the matches that connected at like a fast speed, it almost felt like just playing it offline. It felt so good.
Yeah. I think I talked about it a little bit last week, but it reminds me speed wise of Marvel vs. Capcom, but like visually much easier to track.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Understand what's happening.
Yeah, like I hate watching Marvel vs. Capcom because half the action's off the screen, yeah, or it's just full of bullet hell stuff. And this one, it was like you could see them fight, you could see them coming in, even when somebody else came in. It didn't get lost.
And they slowed down things like the assist. So like in Marvel vs. Capcom, you have your character that you're playing, and then you have your 2 characters that are on the sideline. Essentially, you can bring them in, and they'll do like kind of like a one-time attack and then jump back off screen. And you can kind of like spam those. Like the cooldown on that is very quick in Marvel vs. Capcom. And the cooldown is much slower. So you can still bring in somebody and they'll do their one-time attack, but you have to be more careful about when you do it, because if you do it and it doesn't do anything and then you find an opportunity where you really need it, it could be on cooldown. And it, like Josh was saying, it makes the game easier to follow, because like Marvel, there's almost like 4 characters on the screen at any given time because they're always calling in their assists. Another thing that I really liked about it too, so like in Marvel, you can get it, like if you're good enough, you can make it so your opponent like never gets to play, because like when you...
Not fun.
No, it's not fun. And that's one of the reasons why I dropped Marvel very quickly, because in Marvel, when you KO an opponent's character, the next character immediately comes in. There's no pause or anything. So you can set up traps for the character that's being tagged in and just obliterate them before they even have a chance to like touch the ground. And in Dragon Ball, when you defeat somebody, it goes to kind of a cutscene where the new character comes flying in with your character or the surviving character or the character who KO'd, and they clash, and then the round resets essentially. Wow. So you are back on neutral ground to continue the fight, which that was really nice. But there's all sorts of like really cool little Easter eggs. Like if you do something, like if you have like Goku versus Frieza on like the lava stage, there's ways of cutting or there's ways of like triggering these story cutscenes where they actually have like a back and forth like from the anime, and they kind of like recreate a scene as kind of like a finisher to the round, which is really cool.
That's also what I really liked about the JoJo games, the JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting games. Yeah. They would have like stage moments and things like that, where it was like a recreation of an anime or something like that.
And they don't do it like too often or anything. I think you have to be you have to meet certain conditions to trigger it, but it was very cool just to be. It's like a nice little surprise where something like that happens. So speaking of fighting games, Street Fighter V finally finished its beta and is now a full game. It is now a real video game.
How long has this been in beta?
2 years.
A beta that's lasted 2 years.
He's calling it a beta.
I'm
as
calling
a
it a
joke.
beta. But
Okay.
It's not. No, because Street
Because
Fighter.
originally it had one level, right? Or 2 levels?
No, it came out
It
with
had one level within interaction.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
It originally came out with only 16 characters, no single player content other than these like terrible kind of like trials where you have to like defeat enemies on like waves of enemies on like a certain on a single life bar. It was awful. Nobody liked doing it. But other than that, it was just going online and just playing against people. And like the lobby system was broken because you could only do 1v1 lobbies when it first came out, which was lame because people like to join like rooms, you know, so they can watch matches and things like that before it's their turn. None of that existed. The netcode was bad. But the fighting was always solid. So that's why I stuck with it. But, you know, over the last couple years, you know, they've added little things. They added like the epic story mode, which is really cheesy and kind of dumb, but as a Street Fighter fan, I still kind of liked it. But now, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition finally comes out and has a ton of stages, a ton of characters. If you buy it like retail, you get all the season 1 and 2 characters. It has arcade mode. It has like all sorts of new challenges. So it has like a bunch of single player content you can play offline, and it's really great. And I am really enjoying it. And I was very excited because they brought back Sakura, who is one of my favorite Street Fighter characters.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually are letting you play her for a week for free with all of her costumes and everything, which is really nice because normally when new characters come out, you just have to buy them. But they're letting you have like a trial.
And they cost $30.
For one character. No.
How much does a character? 200?
No.
It's like a WoW character you buy.
I think characters are $5.
$5.
Yeah.
It's still kind of high.
No, not. I mean,
How many characters are purchasable?
right now 13. But you for $30 you can get 12 of them.
Ooh.
If you so like the way this is working is you have if you own Street Fighter V like the base game,
Mm-hmm.
all the arcade stuff is just a free download.
Okay.
And then they made like the season 1 pass $9.99, and then they made the season 2 pass $19.99. But if you never owned Street Fighter V, you could just pick it up retail, and it will come with the season 1 and 2 characters.
How much is that?
$40.
Oh, so if you had the original Street Fighter, how much was that?
$60.
And you didn't get the season 1 or season 2 characters.
So what are you asking? Like,
So you had to spend $90 to get everything.
oh, welcome to fighting games.
All right.
Ugh. It's
Yeah,
like,
people praise Arc System Works, you know, because it's like, oh man, look at, you know, they don't have like loot boxes or like season passes. No, they just re-release the game with 2 new characters and charge like full retail for it.
So if you were on the hype train from the beginning, $90. If you just got on, $40.
Yes.
All right.
So
Now's a great time to get in, guys.
but
Yeah.
the other thing is though, you do earn fight money, and you can buy all the characters and all the purchasable content with fight money.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't that hard to get.
Yeah. How much fight money does it take to unlock a character?
100,000.
And how long did it take you to get 100,000?
So you can play.
how many Corvettes did you have to kick up? Or, kill or destroy? Or
Well, they just added that stuff back in, so I haven't actually gone and smashed any cars yet.
Do you earn fight money for smashing cars?
I don't think so. I think it's just like a little fun thing that you can do. So
Demolition.
I
Daytime job.
earned about like 200,000 fight money just by doing the little character stories that take about 2 minutes to do. So it's not too bad, you know. And the thing is too, it's like if you're like a dedicated fighting game player, you don't necessarily always want the full roster. And I know this sounds like I'm trying to make an excuse for it.
Yes.
It's bad that they do this, right? But this is how fighting games have been for a long time.
It's evil. It is. It's akin. No, I don't want to say it's akin to anything, but no, it's not evil. It's just.
It's not evil. It's how they make money.
It seems money grubby.
It seems that way, but
It seems
you know,
corporate. It's the man trying to.
The thing
us
is
down.
though, is like let's say I'm just a Sakura player, you know, and I just want to play her, and I don't care about the other season 3 characters. Like I don't care about Cody or any of these other guys.
Okay.
I can just play through the character stories, earn 100,000, and just buy Sakura, and then I don't have to spend money to buy the character pass.
and I mean,
But you said you only liked her. Why would you'd have to play through all the characters?
because you could earn her.
You could
Is what
earn
he's
her
saying.
through
Yeah,
playing
you
the
still
single
have
player.
to work
This
all that.
is like a League of Legends type
It takes
of model.
30 minutes to get through all those character stories. So you can earn a character.
You can do all the characters cumulatively, and then it'd only take you 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
those
30
stories are
minutes a
super
piece.
quick.
30 minutes a piece?
No,
30
the
minutes
stories
altogether?
are like 2 to 3 minutes long.
Okay.
Especially if you're just skipping through the dialogue stuff. It's even
Oh.
quicker. Yeah, it's not bad. And there's also like challenges that you can do like online where it's like knock your opponent down like 5 times. And, oh, here's 5,000 fight money.
That's all right. I've spent like $200 on Hearthstone, so
Yeah,
Hearthstone was free.
yeah.
Did you pay $60 for
free in
Hearthstone?
scare quotes.
No,
Okay.
but I spent $200 on cards.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's its own little money machine.
like
Street Fighter is to me is a video game.
Yeah,
You pay
I would like
$60
it more. You should have all the characters.
Yeah.
But as a model, I wouldn't. Even if it was like you spend $80 and you have all the characters that are going to be released, that's probably a better model, honestly. In the end, but I mean, it's a League of Legends type of setup, which it's understandable if you're not making money on your fighting games, if it's a niche community and you're trying to stay afloat.
I think that's basically what it is. It's like Street Fighter is not like a 10 million seller. It sells like 1.5, 2 million copies, and
2 million copies.
that's a small number. We're
Considering-
talking worldwide.
Considering we're trying to prop up a company based on this.
Yeah.
That's because of their pyramid scheme.
It's because they hate everything
Or
else.
their financial, their profiteering.
So I actually just rebought it for the PS4 because they kind of upped the graphics with this patch, so it
They
didn't
upped
run.
the graphics.
Yeah, they
Okay.
improved the visuals of the game.
It's okay. Is
And-
it still 60?
No, the game is not $60.
No, I mean frames.
Oh, on PC, this is what I'm trying to get at. On
Oh.
my PC could no longer run it consistently at 60. It would drop frames, and in Street Fighter, you can't have even a single frame dropped. It'll screw you up. So, especially like Sakura stage, which is her classic Alpha 2 stage, just ran like garbage. It was like 45 frames. And I can't do this. And right now, because of all the cryptocurrency mining stuff, even cheap graphics cards are like $600, $700. So I'm not going to go and buy like a 1060 for that amount of money. So I was like, I could just spend $40 to get it on PS4, earn a bunch of fight money, and buy all the stages back, which is what I did. So I just bought all my stages, and I'll just get the Season 3 pass, eventually, so I can play with Sakura some more. But to me, as like a person, like Street Fighter is my favorite series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand.
And-
I would buy all of that stuff if I was a fan.
And it does suck that they exploit it, but like I said, this has been going on for fighting games for like a long time. Like it's to be expected. Like Tekken does it. Arc System Works is even worse because they just resell you the same game with 2 characters instead of just allowing you to buy them, which is just garbage. Even NetherRealms does it with Injustice and stuff. They have character passes where you have to buy extra characters, although their games are stuffed with content from the beginning.
Now that I think about it, there's always some, I can think of a couple things that companies will do to kind of squeeze some more money. For example, Pokemon. You notice how Pokemon will release 4 versions or 2 versions of the same game, but they'll just offer 1 or 2 different Pokemon.
It's more than 1 or 2. There's a whole selection of Pokemon.
Is it?
Yeah. You have 2 different versions of the game, and you need to have a friend to catch all the Pokemon. And then they later on release a version that has all of them, usually, I think.
I don't know of anyone that has all of them.
Well, it's usually the 3rd one in whatever series.
Oh.
Although I think that only happens sometimes, and then other times they just release 2 new versions of that same game or whatever.
Yeah. But, if you've been sitting on Street Fighter V for a while and you didn't want to pick it up because there was no arcade mode, they have an arcade mode. And it's fun. Like, you actually play like the Street Fighter 1 roster or Street Fighter 2 roster all the way through Street Fighter 5, and it's that, and you can choose like who you fight and stuff between stages. So I think it's pretty well done. I wish there were more difficulty settings to it because there's only 3. It's easy, medium, and easy and medium are both just like a cakewalk, and hard is really hard. So I kind of wish there was something in between.
Medium hot.
Yeah, medium hot, medium well.
Super hot.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying Street Fighter V right now. I love Sakura. She's super fun, and they finally grew her character up. She's no longer in high school and doesn't wear the dumb high school sailor uniform anymore. So
now she's an actual sailor.
Now she's a sailor.
She's in the Navy.
But now she works part-time in an arcade. So her life went places. So, and then just real briefly, I finished Nier Automata, and I don't think I would change my top 5 having played it. It's definitely a top 10, but I really liked it a lot, and I think it isn't perfect by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Like Route B is kind of a slog, but that story is crazy and makes you think.
Makes you think.
I played a game.
What did you play?
Don't you ask, Sean? How dare you? I played. There's a new game called Rusty Lake Paradise.
Quote game.
How dare you?
Just kidding.
This is on par with the game that you played, sir. Do you guys know the Rusty Lake series of games?
Rusty Lake, no.
They're like point and click games, but they're unusual. So there's a new one. I think it's called Rusty Lake Paradise, and that's not the one I played. I played an older one. And I don't remember what it's called. Rusty Lake something.
Way to prepare.
Yeah, well,
for the podcast.
Look, I looked it up, and then we've been talking for a while.
So Rusty Lake is the name of the company that makes it, or is it?
No, it's the name of the series.
Oh, okay.
If you type in Rusty Lake, they're all called Rusty Lake something.
Okay.
So, and they're weird. So it's another situation where you're in like a room and you're picking up pieces that may not make sense together,
mm-hmm.
And then you're in the game I'm playing. You're trying to kill all the house guests.
Trying to kill all the house guests.
Yep, you're trying to murder them.
Okay.
And it's
because there's only one that can be let out of this.
Well, you kill one and then you feed it to everybody else that's in the house.
What?
They're like animal type people.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that's okay. They're animal people.
Yeah. So it's like a pig, you know. You're gonna just roast the pig. It's fine. But they're real macabre and they're really weird. And
is it on Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam. And then like there's this one where somebody's an actress, and so she's trying to get photos taken of her. So you're in there and you're helping her, and you're just doing all these weird little steps to take a photo of her. And when you take a photo, it like changes the picture to like you put something silly on her head, and then when you take the photo, it turns into this like magnificent photo of her. and things like that. And eventually, just through taking photos, you kill her by taking photos. And it's stuff like that. So it's just a weird little nothing game that I'm playing.
What does it look like?
It looks like kind of like an austere drawing of it's like very how do I describe it? It's line drawing, very two-dimensional, and not a lot of motion. So when there is motion, it's usually something that is animated, but not the whole thing isn't like moving. It doesn't feel alive. It feels like you have drawings that are moving around. That's kind of its style. And your camera perspective is fixed, so you're looking at whatever you're looking, and you can go look at something else.
Black and white?
Not quite, but it is very muted colors.
Okay. Is there a swan picture on one of them? I'm thinking of something else, black swan or something.
I think there might be a swan. Like that, I think one of the characters...
I could be thinking of something else.
Yeah, well, either way, it's very weird. If you ever played... I don't know, it's like another point-and-click game. And it's interesting, but there's not really much dialogue or anything like that. You're just finding pieces of a puzzle and you're putting them together. And it's another one where it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Where you have like a hamster and you're like, I don't know why.
It only works after you know that it needs to be done.
Right.
And there's like 3 other probably ways you can do it, but the game was only programmed to where you can only do it that way.
Right. But it kind of makes sense. Like the things aren't like completely crazy. You don't have a bag of dust, but you have just like a little piece of something and you're like, oh, I wonder where this piece fits. And then you see it and you're like, oh, it fits right there. And you put it in. So
just to show you one of the puzzles I had to do, I had to get for one, I had to find this out, is that there's a location that I didn't unlock, I guess. I didn't go to. Mm-hmm. Didn't know that there was another location that I had to find. To find it there's this forest head trail in which I had already found something there and I got stuff from it.
Yeah.
But ever so often you'd see a person at the entrance walk in. But that was the clue, that occasionally someone would walk in and then there was a puddle. You had to take radioactive liquid that I put in my trophy and I put it in the puddle. And then they've tracked that glowing footprint through the forest, and I found them through that way. Like, nothing. There's no clue in the world that said, you know what, you need to find this other place. Oh boy.
So welcome everybody. I think that'll do it for today. Aaron's not here, so we're not going to do our news trivia thing because I don't think any of us want to do that.
I don't know any.
Exactly. I was trying to think actually while we were doing this about like what's news right now, and I don't know. So whenever Aaron's on, we'll have that segment on the show. But GameRushmore.onsouthernroad.com to find our podcast, at Game Rushmore on Twitter, GameRushmore@gmail.com for all questions and comments, on Southern Road on Facebook, YouTube.com/on Southern Road for these videos on YouTube, actually. These episodes on YouTube. And then you can also see Aaron's Laser Ramon from that favorites link.
And then future streaming.
I am planning on starting a stream. I don't know what channel I'm going to use yet. We have an On Southern Road channel. And it may or may not be there. Or it may just be on my Whale Ornick channel, Twitch account. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I'll keep you guys informed on how that goes.
Going to earn some fight money.
I think what I'm going to do...
Oh, man, the fight money.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Gaia series.
Illusion?
So Illusion's the second one. The first one is Soul Blazer.
Soul Blazer.
Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma. That's the sequence.
Terranigma never released.
I've never played Terranigma, and I've always wanted to. And I figure if I do 2 hours a day, I'll get to it.
It's on his bucket list.
It's on my bucket list. I'll take down that bucket.
What if Terranigma is the best game you've ever played?
You know, people say that it is one of the best games ever made. So we'll find out.
They're just saying that.
One of the best action RPGs of the Super Nintendo era never came to the United States.
It should have been like one of the best games never made out. Never.
It made
best
it.
games that never came out.
Made it to Europe even. There's an English translation that's official. They just never took it to America.
British. That's not real English. Just kidding.
If you're British, go ahead and talk to Brandon.
Where's it? Yeah.
Crypto crash on something or other.
Where's the wrench? It's in the boot. Boot. You know the boot. You know what a boot is?
Yeah, it's the trunk.
Yeah.
My question is, why is a Southern redneck tell me it's in a boot?
Or a drunk Canadian.
I don't know. I'm just messing.
And
I love all countries.
From all of us drunk Canadians, have a good day.
Good day, mate. I was more Australian.
Yeah, that's
Good day, mate.
Brandon loves North Korea confirmed.
I love. I just don't like. I don't care for Kim Jong Un. Is that going on the podcast? I don't want him assassinating me.
I don't know. We'll find out. Aaron.
Do you know